welcome to PPR Podcast number 171. My name is Paul Rudy, but the star of the podcast, and the man who's in charge of the guests, getting the guests, Mr. Burt Grossman. And Burt, what a story you found for us this week.
I didn't even know I found a story. It was interesting. I was looking through Twitter, like I always do, and I saw the kid's highlights from USC Camp, and he goes to Helix, and I was like, man, this kid's good. So I text Taylor, Jen Surzer, offense coordinator. Our head coach of Strike Force started asking about him, and then I heard the story, and it was even better.
Well, then, without further ado, introduce our guest, please.
Jeremy Davis from Helix High School. Jeremy, how are you?
Jeremy?
I'm good. How are you?
I guess when people ask, how are you, it's a whole different meaning for you than it is for the everyday Joes on the street. Because how are you? I mean, Jeremy, there's a circumstance where you might not be with us right now to do PPR Podcast 171. Why don't we start right there? Tell us about the day you're at practice and not feeling well.
Yeah, it's just one day I was at practice. I wasn't feeling well for a few days, and then we go into dead period, and I was still feeling sick, so I go to the hospital, and they tell me that I was, that I had AML, acute myeloid leukemia.
And how old are you?
I'm 16.
So how do you hear that? I mean, obviously you went in there thinking you had some bad flu, and then you find out you have this life-threatening disease. Walk us through that, man.
Yeah, it was definitely a shock. But I was more focused on, I wasn't really focused on the fact that I had it. I was more focused on the fact that I needed to get rid of it so I can get back on the field.
I talked to Damaja, and he was saying you were in the hospital months, right?
Yeah, about 8 months.
And he would say you would try to get out, and go watch practice. The first thing you do is watch practice, or try to go to a game. They'd let you out for a day or so. And I mean, the crazy part about it is, you look like a model now and an athlete. It's like, how do you bounce back so quick?
It was I really wanted to get out there. From the hospital, I was watching every game on the TV, just rooting for them, rooting for my guys, my seniors. And yeah, just as soon as I found out I didn't have it anymore, I was back in the gym trying to get back.
Yeah, but let's not gloss over that. 8 months in the hospital. Like, if I have to spend 8 hours for a procedure, as you get older, you tend to have procedures.
I know.
I mean, that would drive me batty. Were you at Rady?
Yeah, I was at Rady's.
All right, so let's talk about that, because everybody they're like angels that walk the earth, are they not? It's a very special hospital. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the staff they're really nice, but what helped me make it through the 8 months mostly was my family and my girlfriend helped me keep the spirits up.
And what's 8 months like? Man, that's a sentence. Tell us about that. What do you do?
Ooh, yeah, it's a lot of time. Even sometimes I can't really leave the floor or the room either. So a lot of phone time.
And they say the treatment sometimes is worse than the actual disease. Can you talk a little bit about exactly what you had to endure, and at what point did you say, oh man, I don't want to do this anymore?
Yeah, I went through a few rounds of chemo. After my first round, though, they found out I had no more leukemia cells. So it was mostly remission after that, remission doses for leukemia.
So I don't know if you heard in the beginning how I found you. I was going through Twitter and I saw your USC clips, and then I was checking out. I said, oh, and then I looked down. I saw your Aztec football clips from San Diego State, and thought you were really good. So I reached out to Taylor and had no idea about this story. And then he told me, and I'm like, and that made it even more incredible. I mean, you literally, if you watch your clips, you just like a D1 linebacker. Right?
I don't know if this is good, but I think when it's defensive player to defensive player, so I think it's not inappropriate. When he was talking about your hips, saying you got good hips. So defender to defender, that means something, right?
Yeah, I feel like it does. It definitely helps me cover man to man.
Yeah, well, okay, I don't want to get away. I don't want to.
Can I make one more thing to that? So I don't want to say that Taylor also told me he's going to have you play H-back and tight end this year. Did you
Yeah,
know
I do
that?
play offense as well.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So where are you in the scheme of things? What class would you be in next year or next fall? Are you
Well, they're saying that I'm going to be getting my extra year of eligibility back because I did miss that entire season and more than 3/4 of the year of school. So I still need to make up those credits in school.
so you're going to go back a year, which is good and lets your body grow. But technically, what will you be then in the fall? Will you be a junior or a sophomore?
In the fall, I will be a junior.
All right, so you'll be a junior with another year to play. Your
sir.
classmates will all be graduating though, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that you know what, you'll make new friends.
No, he's going to be a junior, but that's his real grade this year, and then he'll be a sophomore if he gets his extra year from
Well, yeah.
CIF.
What do you do with that? Because do you want to play an extra year of high school football, or do you want to get right to the?
Oh, I definitely do. I definitely would love that extra year.
So I was right.
Just in love with this.
Yeah, but his friends aren't going to be graduating next year. They're all going to be juniors still.
All right. So then he'll get his sophomore year back as
At the end.
tech it is.
June.
All right. So at some point you'll make new friends. Jeremy, I don't want to dwell on this, but I lost my mom to leukemia, and I saw what she endured, and she put on a brave face. But in the back of her mind, she was always saying, every time she got a sneeze or every time she felt, she was always worried that, am I going through this again? Could you talk a little bit? Does that creep in between your ears at all?
Yeah, if I'm like not feeling well or if I'm throwing up, it's a little scary because that's how it first started. The first signs were me throwing up a lot of aches and pains.
So what do you do? How do you handle that?
I mean, I just like I talked to my girlfriend about it because it's kind of scary. But I always have, someone to talk to about it just in case.
Yeah, I mean, most people aren't thinking about stuff like their mortality. I'm old. I think about my mortality every half hour.
Yeah.
But I didn't think about my mortality when you're 16, 17? What are you?
Yeah, I'm 16.
I didn't think about it at all when I was 16, and I feel for you because you had to and will have to. And what's your advice to people like you that are in that situation?
Just keep fighting. It's gonna get better. At the end of the road, it always gets better.
Yeah, I guess I remember being 16, 17, barely, but all I ever worried about was I didn't want to get a knee injury and lose a scholarship. That was the big thing back then, because you don't even want to know about knee surgeries back then. That was just brutal.
Yes.
But I can't even imagine on that level, and just having that in the back of your mind while you're playing. I guess you don't worry about getting a knee injury or anything like that.
Yeah,
at
suddenly,
that point.
I mean, how does your perspective on things change? Suddenly, when people get all wigged out about, oh, Sally's talking to Joey, and all the stuff that seems like such a big deal when I was your age, man, that's farts in the wind, right? Have you changed?
Definitely as a person, I feel like, yeah, I have. It definitely humbled me a little bit. I was getting a little cocky last summer, and, it's just reminded me to keep my head down and just keep working.
I saw your Instagram where you were flashing that fake Rolex.
Well, I want that picture.
That was last summer.
I want that picture. Include that in the pictures you send me, okay?
Yes, sir.
So what other sports do you do besides football? Didn't you used to wrestle too?
Oh, yeah.
You still wrestle?
Yeah, I wrestle and run track, and I did rugby for a little bit, and I don't know if I'm going back to it.
What's your first love out of those four sports?
It's got to be football.
Football. It's football.
So when do you come to, because we talk a lot of, athletes here and they have a couple of different sports. When do you actually decide that I just want to concentrate solely on football? Or do you never?
I feel like most of the time the sports that I do are to help me get ready for football, like wrestling and track. It's just speed, leverage, getting that strength in my core and legs for wrestling, that speed work for track. I feel like it just helps me along the way.
And let me ask you another question, because hot topic conversation. You guys, Helix lost a lot of seniors. Is it going to be the same Helix this year?
I think you're going to be good, aren't you?
I think we have a really good squad this year. Yeah, we did lose a lot of seniors, but our chemistry on the team's really well. I feel like it's going really well.
Yeah, you guys, like, since we've been doing this, it doesn't matter who you graduate. It's like
you
every year.
you
it's the
guys
same
are always
Helix,
good.
yeah.
You can always count on Helix, and you're kind of a sneaky good in that you're not in the off-season headlines, if you will. Just some kids show up, and then there's the core that shows up, and then you're coached as good as anybody in the county, and you're tough as nails as anybody in the county, and you always have. Once you get into your regular season portion of your schedule, you play the Murderers Row in the non-conference, and then you pick up your wins at the end. After a successful off-season or non-conference season, it seems that they're always at the party, I guess.
Yeah, and the conference got a little better. They got Mount Miguel and Granite Hills in the conference now, so that's going to be
right. I guess I'm going using
the old conference
over the 26 years I've done it.
Yeah.
So tell us about the Helix experience. What do you like about it?
Oh, I love it. It's a great school. They help a lot with work, definitely, and the team, the coaches. Man, it's like a big family.
And where'd you play youth football at?
I played for the Balboa Raiders and the San Diego Bolts.
Oh, you went to Helix. All right.
Yeah, I hate to be dwelling on this. Tell us about how your family reacted to this. I bet Mom was devastated.
Yeah, it was definitely a big shock to everyone. It all just really happened though. For me, I don't have a great memory of the beginning, but I went in the day of when I went to check on myself in the hospital, and they said that I have leukemia, and I had to stay the night at the hospital. I didn't think that night was going to turn into 8 months though. So, but the first few weeks, I don't really remember a lot other than sleeping.
Talk about faith. How does faith factor into this?
Definitely. Faith has a big factor. Just believing that I'm going to get better, believing in God, praying that I get better, be able to get back out there on that field.
Prayers are answered.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you're at all these big league camps, and do you think this illness works against you in any way as far as people are going to be interested in recruiting you, or the fact that you've got great hips, and the fact that you have a clean bill of health, and the fact that you're obviously dedicated to the cause? Is that going to carry the day as far as, I assume SC is your goal to play there?
I mean, it doesn't have that big of a factor. I mean, I have to go to a doctor's appointment every now and then, but I feel like I'm back even better than I was before I got it.
What is the prognosis for somebody in your situation after you've gone into remission? What do they say?
Well, the remission, I had to stay in the hospital for that, for my last chemo doses, but now I just go to the hospital once a month. They draw some blood, do some tests, and then I'm good to go.
And what do they say? Is this something that's going to come back, or is this something that they think is now in your past?
It can come back. That's what they say. That's why they're going to be doing tests for like the next 5 to 9 years, because it definitely can come back. But yeah.
So you have to once a month all the way through the next 5 to 9 years?
Yeah, but down the road it gets to like every 3 months, every 6 months as time goes on.
Holy moly! I mean, that's weighty to have to. Who's been, other than your girlfriend? Give us the person who's been in your ear that has been the difference for you as far as keeping your spirits up.
My mom and my dad, definitely my parents. Because they're the ones that were there. They were staying the night at the hospital every night. Just being there for me, making sure I'm okay, making sure I'm still okay now, even though I'm at the hospital.
All right, so talk to him right now through this podcast. What do you want to say to him?
I love you guys a lot. I appreciate you guys so much, and thank you for everything.
Nice.
I love this kid.
You left. Didn't your brother, was it Adrian, played at Helix, didn't he?
Yeah, my brother Adrian did. He actually won a ring there in 2021 against Lincoln.
Who's better, you or him?
I gotta say me.
Where did he go anywhere? Where did he play after high school?
Yeah, he played at Mesa.
I remember the Helix Lincoln game. We were at that one. It was at Modern Day, I think.
Yeah. We were, yeah.
Yeah. That was a good game.
All right, so as you go through life, I know I'm asking this question a second time. I want to give you a second bite at it. Talk to kids out there who find themselves dealing with adversity. Help them.
You know, life, it's going to hit you hard. It hits you hard a lot. It's going to try to knock you down, but you just got to keep moving. You got to keep moving your feet. Just keep going. No matter if you're in a slump or anything, you're feeling really down, just know that you can make it.
Yeah, that's good advice, because life usually doesn't hit you that hard at 15, 16.
Yeah, but I mean, and you don't realize it, but you've become are you comfortable in this role, or we're sitting here, we're two grown men kind of bowing down to you because you're a source of inspiration. Are you comfortable being that inspiring story, or are you sick of talking about it?
No, I'm glad that I can give people hope in the world that you can get through anything.
Man, I couldn't even be half that mature.
No,
I think at 16, I would. If I didn't get the car I wanted, I'd pout and not even do the interview.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, God, now I feel ashamed of myself in high school.
Hey, so let's talk about what makes you so good as a football player. Assess your game for us. Break it down for us.
Man, mostly it's just my aggression. You know, love hitting people. Love flying around out there, having fun. I love the sport. It's just super fun. Yeah, it's just, I've been in love with the game forever. It's just having fun for me mostly. I just love being out there. It makes my day so much better. Being able to go out and compete, have fun, and learn for a few hours a day.
We talked about turning your hips in pass protection, but are you more a pass rusher in the scheme that what the Scotties use?
I wouldn't say pass rusher mostly. Yeah, mostly off the line now, but I'm mostly covering people. Yeah, I'd say that, but I am in the run fit.
Yeah, I noticed in the run fit you and Taylor said the same thing, how aggressive you are. But the crazy part is I watch you in coverage. You're real patient in your coverage. You're not real aggressive in it, which is great because you seem to not get lost anywhere or juke like you see Tyreek Hill get in every camp by a little kid from being too aggressive. But yeah, that's a pretty good thing to have. Be patient in coverage, but aggressive in run fit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, young man. Before we wrap this up, let's talk about who are you watching in the county. What team scares the Helix Scotties?
Oh, I wouldn't say I'm scared of anyone.
I knew you were going to say that.
You don't ever hear anybody
all
scared
right,
of
so
Helix.
what team are you watching right now that, it's going to be interesting to play them in the Open Division Final?
Open Division Final? I feel like us playing Granite Hills, that would be a great game, man. Just, two teams from the same league going at it.
Did it kill you to miss that game last year? Twice you played, or was it?
They played twice.
Was it the one at Granite Hills that ended? Did they both end in overtime?
Yeah.
Did it kill you to miss those games?
Yeah, those were really hard watches for me, especially the fact that I'm laying down, I can't do anything about it. It's hard.
And you're sitting watching, you're thinking, hey, if I was on the field, I might make a difference.
I like to think so. I was in the hospital. I was like, man, what if I was there? But it is what it is.
Who was the guy, the running back that scored on the overtime try? They did the funky formation. You would have closed the gap and tackled him short of the goal line. That's what you got to be thinking, right? Your guys were dead tired though. Everybody was on their last legs.
Wait, that's an interesting. That was Pablo Jackson, who I heard is at Helix now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, let's talk about that. You don't have to worry about catching him now. Well, you only have to catch him in practice. There's your quiet little off-season acquisition. What's that about?
I really found out about this too. I was just scrolling on Twitter, and I just see that he transferred, and I was like, oh wow.
You don't
And he's a great guy.
Do you know him?
Yeah, he played for the Raiders back in the day, so yeah, I know him.
Balboa Raiders.
Yes,
I gotta help you out sometimes. You feel like he's out of
I
eligibility.
picked it up. Come on, wrap this up. You got one more?
Well, I do have one more. So, I mean, this has to be, you smiling all the time, and I don't blame you. I mean, you're sitting in the hospital bed last season, 8 months, watching the games, and now you're at USC football camp meeting Lincoln Riley, competing. I mean, that just has to be surreal to you.
Yeah, it's crazy, man, being able to be talked to from coaches like that, coaches at SGSU, USD, USC, man. It's just great. They have a lot to say, and I, always have more to learn.
How do you feel like you stack up against all these guys that are at this camp? I mean, there's no average players there, right? I mean, it's usually high-end guys,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I say it's pretty good competition, but I've been doing pretty well handling myself there.
Well, young man, I appreciate you sharing your story with our audience. I think you, whether you're comfortable in the role or not, you're gonna be that guy, and we wish you continued good health above anything else, because that's all we care about. But if it turns out you have a great football career, well, that's just gravy. Okay? So
Yeah.
you know what pictures I need, and I need them as quick as you can get them to me. Rudy
Yes,
at
sir.
KUSI.com. And I'm going to put this up on YouTube right now, the raw of this, and then I'll start clipping up smaller bits for my social media later today and putting them up. In the meantime,
Yes, sir.
thank you. Don't call me sir, I'm Paul. And
Sorry.
just be well, okay?
Yes, sir.
PPR
Yes, Paul.
Podcast number 171 is toast. Turn it off.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.